Championship here from the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. And boy oh boy, what a day of racing has been. Of course, the Brazilian Grand Prix was absolutely bonkers. And at the moment we have a podium of Verstappen, of course Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz, but he's under investigation. So it could well be Kimi Räikkönen on the podium in the end as well. But we're underway now for, of course, our one-shot qualifying. And let's try get to our championship leader, of course, Ed, who's run certainly very wide there through turn 2, but now through the very, very long turn 3. And that completes the end of the first sector into turn 4. Very important to keep the car tight there, but he did go a little bit wide, but he's still gaining cars in front. He locks up there into turn 5. That doesn't help, but he still just about carries the speed through the corners. We have our first time in the session in Maverick DC88. His head's clipped the curb and he's gone into the wall. Our championship leader and multiple drivers have gone into the wall, but at the moment we have Bolt TBD on pole at the moment as he comes through turn 10 and now through 11 and through 12. It's a very difficult right-hander that. So easy to go out wide on that curb and lose a bunch of time. But behind we have Jay Hobson UK. Let's see if he can challenge Bolt for pole position here as they come through the final chicane and they put the power down as they come through the final corner now on the short straight down to the finish line. And it is Bolt who gets pole position from Jay Hobson UK and Ragno in third. What a chaotic session that was, as we've got, well, as we've got our championship leader down in 13th. We've also got Addy, who've been performing very well, down in 17th. But there you go, quite a few drivers getting their lap invalidated, and it's very easy to do at this circuit. As I just need to make sure everything is running smoothly in the stream. Oh, and Ragno with a bit of spice there. He's starting on the medium compounded tyres. So Ragno will be looking to come charging through the field in the second half of the race, perhaps. Or perhaps even in the start of the race. He does like to get some rocket starts as Ragno. So I think we'll be watching out for that Ferrari. But we have Bolt on pole, Jay Hobson UK second, Ragno third, Chilikilla fourth, Lazar fifth, Anel sixth, Hereford seventh, 8th Murcielago, 9th Dougie Ackerman, 10th Val, 11th Danny Bin Lahar, 13th Lola Power, 13th Ed, on 14th Testo, 15th Skull in 16th, and then we've got Addy in 17th and Maverick in last place in 18th. And sadly, of course, you might have noticed that we are missing Chazza today. Again, he's had some internet issues for the past week now, and has sadly not been able to resolve them, so he will miss out again today, and hopefully he should be back for the next race, of course, which will be the Monaco Grand Prix. Not good memories at Monaco for me of last year, that's for sure. We're just waiting for the drivers to load up into the lobby. Usually around Spain it is a one-stop, but who knows what will happen. Who knows, some drivers might go for a two-stop. We've seen in Azerbaijan a lot of drivers, when the one-stop was certainly the much quicker strategy, a lot go on to the two-stop. So I wouldn't put it past some of these drivers to go on to the two-stop, of course. And first of all, we have the formation lap to start. And let's just see what exactly the championship standings are. Sorry, I was trying to think of what I was saying. Alright, I'm just getting the championship standings up right about now. Yep, and there we go, of course, a winner last time out. Bolt starts on pole, but at the moment he is behind Ed in the championship. Ed on 85 points, Bolton second on 63, Addy on 56, and Ragno on 43. Chilikilla 5th, Chazza in 6th, even though he's only done one race. Val 7th, Hereford 8th, Murcielago 9th, and Maverick in 10th after that. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant P4 last time out in Azerbaijan from the back of the grid. But whereabouts are we? We're just through turn 9 now, so not too far. So I'm just going through Twitter now, and there's 6 drivers under investigation for DRS Open under yellow flags, and Carlos Sainz is one of them. That is going to be a long night for the stewards. And now, as we come through in the last sector, Bolt not exactly backing the grid up, is he? He's got quite a bit of a gap there to J Hobson UK and Ragno, so they've been a little bit cheeky, those behind Bolt. And now Bolt will have to be sitting on the grid for quite a long time with some cold tyres, which are certainly not ideal, as there is quite a lengthy run down to turn 1 here. And who knows, could Chili Killer do the Fernando Alonso and go from 1st to 4th? Could he make it happen? Who remains to be seen, of course, as we are now just about ready to get started here for the Spanish Grand Prix. And here we go. We have 2, we have 4, we have 5 lights. And lights out, and away we go, and that looks like it's a very good start for the Red Bull and also for the Ferrari behind of Ragno, as they're now on the run down to turn 1, and J Hobson UK is in the lead. We've got an Alfa Romeo trying to go down the inside the Ferrari. He just about hasn't made it stick, as the Williams is trying to go around the outside, but J Hobson in the lead, as Ragno has looked to maintain 3rd place there over Chili Killer. But now, further back behind, we've got Aneltanovic making a very good start, up into P5. But Bolt, has he got the lead back past J Hobson UK? They're going side by side now to turn 5. Bolt with the inside line. Is he going to get the move done? J Hobson looking to go the long way around. He's just gone a little bit too wide there. Now J Hobson UK is down into 2nd place, and Bolt is in the lead, but he goes a little bit sideways action there through turn 8 and now through turn 9. And Bolt is looking to get ahead. But here we go, we've had Chili Killer get past Ragno, and are we going to see any moves further back? There's a Toro Rosso of Dougie Aframan, I think that was, trying to make a move. But Lazar the Greek has lost his place to Aneltanovic, or I think he may try to make a move there. But it hasn't quite worked out for him, as of course our championship leader Ed is up into 10th place already, just overtaking Val in these early stages of this race, and the field is very, very close, as Lazar has to cut the corner to try and avoid contact with Aneltanovic, and now that puts him under pressure from the Toro Rosso Dougie Aframan down the main straight. And is there anyone else going to get involved? Of course, Murcielago has a pretty good view of this as well. But Dougie Aframan with the inside line down into turn 1. Is he going to get it done? Both drivers leave enough room for each other, but it looks like Lazar's going to come out on top of that. But now Dougie Aframan is under pressure from Murcielago, but Murcielago's ran a little bit too wide there, and that has cost himself any chance of trying to get at Dougie Aframan for the time being, as we've had Ed launch it from a mile back on Hereford there, as they're now actually going side by side. And Ed gets the move done, and he's on the hard compounded tyres. Of course, I actually hadn't checked what compound everyone is on, so I must do that immediately. And there we go. Of course, we've got Ragno and Aneltanovic on the medium compounded tyres, as now Chili Killer's trying to get the move done here on J Hobson UK. J Hobson UK looking for a switchback, but that's not possible out of turn 10. And now Chili Killer, who's had a very good start, of course started 4th, is now up into P2. But Ragno and Aneltanovic are certainly in a fantastic position in this race, of course along with our championship leader Ed, who are all on harder compounded tyres than the top 3 here. Zandel loses the rear end ever so slightly coming out of that final corner, but Bolt with the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:22.9. But now we've got J Hobson UK in the slipstream here of Chilica down towards turn 1. Is he going to send it up the inside? Yes, he is, from quite a ways back. But Chilica around the outside managed to take care of that and maintains 2nd place for the time being, as Ed has overtaken another driver, and now he's up into P8. Ed certainly looking very, very strong and demonstrating how quick he is in the early stages of this Grand Prix, of course. Lap number 3 of 33 in this race, as Ragnar got a little bit close there to J Hobson UK. He might have even touched him, I'm not quite sure. But now Ragnar with the inside line down into turn 7. Is he going to get it done? They're going side by side. That's very ambitious. But no contact there as J Hobson UK has maintained his position there. Ahead of Ragnar in P3. But further back behind now, we've got Lazar the Greek going to come under pressure here from Ed. But Lazar with the DRS is able to stay ahead of Ed. But Murcielago ahead of Lazar makes a little bit of a mistake there. And is that going to cost him? As now we've got an absolute gaggle of cars from P4 all the way down to, I'd say, P9, separated by about 3 or 5 seconds. It's absolutely remarkable. But Lazar looking to try to get past Murcielago through the chicane. That's not going to work out. But now Lazar's going to have to be looking backwards as Ed is firmly in his rear wing now, as Ed with the slipstream and the DRS is gaining on Lazar the Greek, and now that should be quite a comfortable move down into turn 1, and it is for Ed, for the Mercedes driver, but he goes a little bit wide there, and I did see the hand go up, so there might have been some contact, and indeed there is, as now Lazar's trying to go around the outside of Ed, but Ed's trying to cover that off, and Ed is now up into P7. Very nicely done there indeed. But Ragnar and J Hobson UK once again side by side in this corner. And Ragnar is going to go cleaner around the outside. What a move that is by Ragnar. And now he is up into P3 on those medium compounded tyres after 3 laps. Very good start by Ragnar to get back up into his actual starting qualifying position. Indeed. But now J Hobson UK is under pressure from Anel Tanovic. Is Anel going to send one up the inside? No, he thinks the better of it. He doesn't want to risk causing any contact, causing any damage to both cars this early on. But he's got quite a good run there on J Hobson UK. And speaking of risking it, he risked it there, but he got away with it. There was a little bit of wheel banging. But J Hobson UK looks to be struggling. He put in a very good performance in qualifying. But at the moment, it's Murcielago has got a ghost car, as I think he must be lagging quite a bit. And now Ed is up into P6, but now Anel trying to get past J Hobson UK. He's weaved over to the left-hand side. Anel is not going to be able to quite get up the inside there. And oh, he touches the curb, and that is bye-bye to Anel Tanovic from at least up battle with J Hobson UK for P4. Down to 10th, and you can see he's really struggling with that rear end. Still, after that little spin, you cannot touch that curb. I knew as soon as he touched it that he was going to go spinning around, and that's very disappointing because he was in a very strong position, was Anel Tanovic. But here you go. Look at this. There's an absolute ding-dong battle going on here as Ed is behind J Hobson UK on the hard compounded tyres. 2 compounds difference between these two drivers in terms of compounded tyre. But you can see who has the pace advantage here, and it's Ed GTS, and he's going to go down the inside of J Hobson UK. Locks up the rear brakes actually, but just about gets the job done. And now Ed is up into P4 after starting, I think it was 14th. So he's had a very good result. Well, he's had a very good race so far after 5 laps and about to be lap number 6. As we had King No Skill there just disconnect from the session. Rather unfortunate there if he did crash out. Not entirely sure. But Val has also had a very good race so far, and he's up into P6. He's basically followed Ed through here. But further back, we've got the 2 Williams engaging into battling. Is now Hereford is trying to go up the inside of Lazar the Greek, who goes right into the back of Murcielago, and that then causes Hereford to go spinning out, and he's in the wall. Is he going to come back on the track safely? Yes, he is indeed. But chaos there with the Williams drivers. Lazar just absolutely yeeted into the back of Murcielago there. I think that's the best description of what he did. And he has cost himself, or he cost his teammate, certainly a good points paying position. As now Maverick DC 988 is up into P11 now. He's had a very good start, of course, from 18th. Very solid progress there for the Mercedes driver on the medium compounded tyres. And now we've got Anel Tanovic and Lazar the Greek going side by side. Anel with the inside line. Oh, the cars got glued together there. I'm not sure who was at fault there. But now Lazar's in the wall. And I'm sure there'll be words after this race. Oh, and we've also had now Anil spin out. What on earth is going on in this race? Everyone is spinning out. And now Maverick is up into P9, putting Danny Bin Lahar under pressure. But in the meantime, we've had Bolt coming to the pits, going on to the medium compounded tyres, and also Jay Hobson UK pitting. And now we're seeing our first pit stops. And it'll be interesting to see when the other drivers follow suit. But Bolt did have like a 7-second lead over Chillicothe, who's just actually been overtaken here by Ragno. We have just missed that in all the chaos that was happening in the final sector with the midfield. But Chillicothe certainly had a good race, but Ragno's tyres starting to come into factor here. Those medium compounded tyres, which of course has less grip, but of course is a more durable compounded tyre. As King No Skills, these lags cause me crashes. Oh, that's certainly not good to hear. That's certainly not what you want. As now Anil Tanovic has also left the session. I'm sure he's very frustrated after he was in a good position. He was in a good position, I can't remember Full's last race, a couple of races ago. But very unfortunate for Anil Tanovic. If he can just keep his nose a bit cleaner, I'm sure he'll be in for a very solid result eventually. Maverick now starting to put this McLaren all under pressure, as we've got Bolt actually getting past Testermeister, who's off in the gravel. Not sure how he's managed that, but Bolt up into 8th place now, and here we go. We've got a perfect view of how much pressure Maverick is applying, as we've got Chillicothe and Murcielago now in the pit lane. And here we go now, Maverick trying to gain on Danny Bin Lahar down the straight with the DRS, and of course he's in the highest overtake mode, or highest ERS setting, and now he's looking for some sort of switch back here through turn 3 to try to get a move done into turn 4. He's had a much better run through turn 3 than Danny, but of course he's not quite close enough to get a move done right about there. But this is certainly where we're going to be keeping our eyes on for the moment. But interesting to note that that Dougie Afferman hasn't pitted yet, who's on now 7-lap-old soft compound tyres, so who knows, he might be looking to go a little bit longer than the rest in this race. As now once more Maverick through turn 9. He's actually not had a fantastic run there on the McLaren, so he's not going to be close enough to get a move done, which I'm sure will be frustrating, because he was basically pushing him through this last sector, the last lap, and now he's going to have our effective late race leader Bolt all over the back of him through this last sector, and you can see how much more grip he has on these 6-lap fresher medium compounded tyres. And here you go. Seems like Danny's really through this last chicane, as he now loses the rear-ended treat, and that's caused a concertina effect here, as now everyone has DRS except for Danny Bin Lahar, and he should be a sitting duck for both the Renault and the Mercedes. But Bolt's going to try use the double slipstream to go around the outside of Maverick. No, he's just going to try and get past the McLaren, and indeed he does do that successfully. Bolt past the McLaren. Yes, he is past the McLaren. A good move there by Bolt. But he will now be sending his sights on getting past Maverick DC88 and moving up into P4 in this race. We to see that actually he wasn't gaining too much on the straight, so he might be running a little bit different setup compared to the other drivers. And this is new. Val is now ahead of Ed. This was certainly not the case. Val was certainly behind Ed the last time I remember the two on board. So I wonder what's happened to Ed here. That's caused him. He's now going to try and go around the outside to turn 10 of Val. Val squeezing me out saying, you ain't doing that, buddy. But Ed's going to try it anyway through turn 11, and that is a very, very brave move there by Ed, and a fantastic one at that, as now we've also had Bolt get past Maverick at turn 10. But that is a very brave move, because you want to try be well over to the left-hand side trying to go through turn 11. Oh, but what's happened now? Ed's gone for a spin, and he just about manages to avoid Danny Bin Lahar. There's obviously been some contact there between Val and the Mercedes driver. It is all kicking off. We've seen about a dozen cars go spinning around so far this race. The drivers are on a mad one so far, as we've had Jay Hobson UK come into the pits another time, I believe. So I wonder what's going on there. Oh, no, he hasn't. He's just all the way down there in P13. But of course, we have Bolt in the effective race lead. Of course, we haven't had Val and Ragno pit. And then I think who else is actually pitted? So Chiller Killer, quite a ways back. Bolt now probably about 10 seconds if you look past all the intervals. He's quite a ways back. So Bolt is certainly in a very good position in this race, but of course he has those who hasn't pitted, as Danny Bin Lahar was a little bit sideways on the exit curb through turn 9 there. As now he has Ed gonna try and look to get past him as soon as he possibly can. You can see Ed is his tyres are in a little bit better condition than these medium compounded tyres after 9 laps. As now through the chicane, which we've seen Danny Bin Lahar struggle with multiple times, and I must say that chicane is rather awful to take in these big and heavy cars. But now Maverick TC88 defending the inside immediately down the straight, as now Danny Bin Lahar has actually got around. Going to go around the outs. He's going to try to go around the outside of the Mercedes. Is he going to get done? Yes, he is. A very nice move there by the McLaren, but with a potential switchback Maverick. Is he going to look to get this done? Danny just parks it in the middle of the corner. Very well done there. Good defending by the McLaren, as now we have Ed, Maverick's teammate, trying to look to get past him and clean up the inside. He does, as Maverick was too busy occupied with Danny Bin Lahar, and Ed is now back on a charge, trying to get back towards, well, where he should be, and that is up the front of the race, as he hasn't pitted. He should be right there with Val and Ragno, but of course he's had some contact with Val and a mistake somewhere else, I believe, which has caused him to drop all the way down into P5. But Danny makes a mistake there on the exit of turn 9, and now that gives Ed the perfect opportunity to go whereabouts, as Danny was actually perfectly placed in the middle of the track. But now Ed's going to try to do exactly what he just did to Val a number of laps ago, trying to go up the inside through turn 11, and Danny was not expecting it, and a little bit of sideways action there for Ed on the curb, and now at the inside into this right-hander in the last sector, and he barges Danny Bin Lahar out the way, and now Maverick is all over the back of Danny Bin Lahar once again, and it looks like Maverick has got a pretty good run there on the McLaren driver. It's going to be Rolls reverse lap, but Danny Bin Lahar has some DRS, and it looks like Maverick isn't gaining all that much, as we have a lapped car coming out of the pit lane. All three drivers actually going very, very deep into turn 1, and Danny, he did just clip the curb, he got away with it. You saw his rear end twitching all about there, as now we have, I think Bolt has just got past Val up into P2, and you can see Danny struggling on these tyres. He's losing the rear end, a tree everywhere, as Maverick's trying to go up the inside now, and he's going to get that move done. Is Maverick up the inside? Very nicely done. And now I think he should be able to drive away from Danny Bin Lahar, who's really struggling with the rear end of his car now. You can see, of course, on the previous lap he lost it quite a treat on the exit curve of turn 9. But he's looking to try to be aggressive already, is Danny Bin Lahar. He seems to have a bit more straight line speed than Maverick, and he's got quite a good exit there, but of course nothing doing in terms of an opportunity quite there. But Ragno is doing a very good job on these medium compound tyres. 12 lap old medium compound tyres. He has an 8-second advantage over our effective race leader, who hasn't pitted. Oh, sorry, he has pitted, and that is Bolt. As we have Danny Bin Lahar now coming into the pit lane after, you can see he was visibly struggling with his rear end of the car. And let's see what compounded tyres he decides to go on. Actually, we'll stay on board here. And what tyres is he going to go on? He's going to go onto the hard compound tyres, trying to go to the end of the Grand Prix. And if he does manage to do that, he will be in for he'll be in a very good position towards the end of the race. But someone who should be in a good position towards the end of the race, even though he's had quite a few incidences throughout this race, is going to be Ed. He's probably going to go onto the medium compounded tyre around lap 20 or so, and he'll be very, very quick towards the end of this race on that fresh set of rubber. That's for sure. And he's actually just got a 3-second time penalty. You can see he cut the inside of turn 9 quite a bit there, and he has got a 3-second time penalty for that cutting of the chicane. And all over that curb. I'm not sure why you want to be going all over that inside curb anytime I went on it on this game. I'd go spinning around. There's now Ragno from the lead of this race going to come into the pits, and let's see whereabouts he comes out. Goes onto the hard compounder tyre, going to go to the end of the race on that one stopper, like a couple of other drivers in this race, certainly Testmeister and Skull and Maverick, and of course Addy and Ed are going to do that as well. But whereabouts is he going to come out? Ragnar is going to come out ahead of Chiller Killer in P5, about 3.5 seconds behind Maverick DC88 in P4. So in a pretty good position is Ragnar, and is how many seconds is he? So he's about 15 or 16 seconds behind Bolt, and if he's able to close that gap to Bolt as he's on a bit fresher compounded tyres, I think that Ragnar really could be in with a chance here of certainly be battling with Bolt in the final stint of this race, as the Racing Point car gets very well done there. Of course, it's nice to see when drivers actually get out of the way when they've got blue flags. We've seen a couple other times so far this season that they have not quite done that. As now Murcielago, who's in P8, is closing up to the back of Addy, who has not pitted yet on those hard compounded tyres. Of course, sad that he does have so much internet issues. But now we have, who was that? Got clattering over the curbs. That was Ragno, that was for sure. Through that final sector, he was all over the curbs. As we now have Maverick and Val into the pits. Of course, all going to go both onto the hard compounded tyres to the end of this race. But it's just a shame that Ed has made so many mistakes, because I really think he could be battling for the race win here if he hadn't made those mistakes. As he's 9 seconds behind Bolt, who has pitted and Ed has not, so rather unfortunate. But oh well, that is racing at the end of the day. If you make mistakes or get involved in instances and you lose time, that's what happens. So we've got Murcielago closing in on Ed. On Addy. Once again, I'm so used to be saying Ed's name. Everyone is Ed for me now. As we've got the Toro Rosso of Doggy Afro Man closing up to the back of the McLaren of Testmeister. Here through turn 4. But looks like both cars struggling with understeer, but certainly then on the exit of turn 4, Testmeister was struggling with just a little bit of oversteer as he lost the rear end, an absolute treat there. And that's not what you want. You don't want to be you don't want to be compromising those rear tyres at such an early stage in the stint. Of course, he's only been on these hard compound tyres 1 lap, and that is not what you want to be doing. So he needs to be looking after and preserving those hard compounded tyres to go to the end of the race. But I'm not going to lie, we have hit a little bit of a lull here, as the split strategies of all the drivers are creating these gaps. But I think towards the end of the race, I think everyone will be brought back together, which will be very good to see. But Murcielago still not able to get past Addy down to turn 1, as the Red Bull driver just not able to get close enough to the Haas driver where it matters. And good to see Kevin Jacobs in the chat saying, how's it going today, guys? Well, I basically live on American time at the moment, so when did I wake up? I woke up at about 4 AM Australian time after I went to sleep again. But yeah, I'm doing well. How you doing, mate? It's good to see you in the chat. It's a shame that you're not able to race, but yeah, how you doing? We have J Hobson UK getting past Skull TVD down into turn 10, but Skull battling to stay ahead through turn 11, and indeed he does. Stays ahead of J Hobson UK for the time being. Very good job there by Skull. He's on 15 lap old medium compounded tyres. Is he going to try and do a madness and go all the way onto the soft compounded tyres at the end? I probably wouldn't advise for it, but oh dear, that is quite brave, as Murcielago, I think, has finally got past. No, of course, Murcielago's car is ghosted because his connection isn't very stable whatsoever. But now into turn 4. Is Murchilak going to try and dive it up the inside? No, he is not. He is not going to do that. As Maverick. What on earth has happened to Maverick? Oh, Skull has gone for a little spin at turn 1. Now Maverick is up into P9. That's unfortunate. I wonder what happened there between Skull and J Hobson UK to cause Skull to be spun around like that at turn 1 and turn 2. As so now we'll just have a quick little look at the chat. Kevin Jacobs says, "Go figure, Bolt is winning. Will someone tell him to quit dominating like Lewis Hamilton?" Well, it hasn't been Bolt really dominating so far this season. I think Ed he's had certainly more the dominant victories. Bolt, of course, only won his first race last time out in Baku. As we've got Danny Bin Lahar. He's gone at turn 9. We've seen him struggling at turn 9 a couple of laps ago when he was battling with Maverick, and he's indeed now spun out at turn 9, and I think we might see a retirement here, as he can't even control the rear end, and he's going to probably have to pit, I'd assume, for new tyres. That's a shame, but of course, it's his own mistake, his own doing. But yeah, now let's. I said this. I don't think he's dominating like Lewis Hamilton, but he's certainly in a good position in this race. I certainly think that Ragnar will give him a challenge towards the end of the race. Of course, Bolt does have to pit again, and I'd assume that he'd go onto the medium compound tyres again. But he'll have to certainly overtake Ragnar for the lead of the race if he wants to win. So certainly watch out for Ragnar in the latter stages of this race. And he's also saying, doing good, just at work, getting paid to watch some Nemesis Online Racing League racing. Well, of course that's very good. That's very good that you're able to work. Of course, shame that you can't be racing, but it's great that you're using your time at work to watch this. You probably should be doing some work, but obviously, if you don't have any work to do, then of course, come and watch the streamers. Now we have Addy coming into the pits after 17 laps of those hard compound tyres. He's had enough of them. And what tyres is he going to go on? The Haas driver's probably going to go on the medium compounded tyres here to the end of the race, one would have to assume. And yes, indeed, he's going to go on the medium compounded tyres now. A very slow pit stop, as he's had to have a new front wing, and that's going to drop him down a little bit more than what he'd hope. But I think that a potential battle that we could be seeing also is Murchilak and Chillakilla. Is actually Murchilak, I think, is now probably going to start catching Chillakilla in this race. Murchilak had some really good pace here, but just unfortunately his internet connection has cost him from really battling with some drivers. There's a little bit further back, and now we've had J Hobson UK pit onto the hard compound tyres. And he's all the way down to P13, and of course he qualified in second. It hasn't been exactly the greatest race for the Red Bull driver. There's the McLaren F Testmeister coming through the fast left-right chicane up towards turn 9, as we have Ed now pitting from second place. And he's going to go on the medium compounded tyres, is the Mercedes driver. Now, whereabouts will he come out? I think he'll probably come out around... he'll come out ahead of Val probably here. Will Ed, yes indeed, I think he will come out ahead of Val. Oh no, he won't. He'll come out behind Val, so we'll get to see that battle once more. Val going at it. And I'm expecting some fireworks, as I don't know if... Val just overtaken, or just got overtaken by that car or not. I wasn't exactly paying attention. I wasn't paying full attention, I should say. But the lapped car is clearly holding up Val, and oh dearie me, as Ed is trying to go for an overtake there on Val. The lapped car's completely gotten in the way, and I praised the car. I praised the Racing Point for getting out of the way with blue flags before, but he was clearly holding Val up through turn 4. And then, oh dear, just, if you got a blue flag, get out of the way. It's quite that simple. And Val, who I think knew he was going to get overtaken there, has let past Ed, as they're both weaving in frustration. As now, Very important pit stop, and here we've got Bolt coming in on the hard compounded tyres. That's interesting, as he is now going to come out behind Ragno, who now inherits the lead of the Grand Prix. And on lap 21 of 33, Ragno will probably have about a 5-second gap, as now Murcielago is coming to the pits, and he's going to go on to the soft. No, what compound? He's going to go onto the medium compounded tyres, as he had a 5-second stop and go penalty there for speeding in the pit lane, I'd assume. And speaking of speeding in the pit lane, we have the Racing Point. It's coming into the pits, and who sped into the pit lane as well. But I think now Addy has just set the fastest lap. The race was a 1:21.8, I believe it was. But now Addy is gonna be looking to gain on Maverick in these closing laps, on this final stint of the Grand Prix, I should rather say. But now Ed, I think he'll be looking to close the gap to Chillicothe, and actually, in truth, he really isn't that far off the podium. And on these medium compounded tyres and the two leaders on the hard compounded tyres, I certainly think that Ed is in contention of getting a podium here. But well, he's certainly going to get a podium, because of course Chillicothe is going to have to pit again onto another compounded tyres. So Ed's going to find himself on the podium, but it's whether or not he can close up to Bolt and Ragno. I think that'll be another question. As you can see, he's extremely quick. But I would not put it past him, as we've still got quite a ways to go. We've just gone past 2/3 race distance here. And Ed, I think, is in a reasonable position here. But Bolt has closed the gap to Ragno by about half a second in the 1.5 laps or so that he's been on these hard compounded tyres. And of course, exactly not the greatest compound to be closing that gap in. Of course, his tyres will stay nice and fresh towards the end of the stint, but certainly not during. He certainly won't be as quick as he maybe hoped during this middle part of the stint, as we've got the Racing Point, not the Racing Point, the Williams getting out the way very well there, which is good to see. So I'm just going to have a quick little drink, as we've got a little bit of the Racing Point is actually just retired from the race. Lollapalooza. As I nearly spat my water out as well. A rather unexpected fastest lap of the Grand Prix just come from J Hobson UK, all the way down in P14. But one can only assume that Ed might just set the fastest lap of the race. No, he doesn't actually. So J Hobson UK actually showing some good pace. He must have had some DRS or something, or gone for a full-out attack mode lap to try to get that fastest lap. Of course, he won't get a point if his fastest lap stands, because of course, you're going to get fastest lap set within inside the top 10 drivers. But I thought Bolt would have a little bit more issue closing down Ragnar here, but the gap is just about 2 seconds, so he's really putting some work here. Has Bolt to close this gap down as quickly as possible, and Ed has now just got another time penalty, and that's important to remember. I know that Ed has picked up a time penalty early in the race, as now Ragnar's being held up by a Red Bull. J Hobson UK, I think, is holding up Ragnar here, and I don't care how fast you are, just get out of the way. You can clearly see that he's affecting him through this last sector, and he's now had blue flags since about turn 10. But of course, as Ragnar's actually lost the rear end in the dirty air of the Red Bull here, and now Bolt is going to come into the lead of the race. The blue flags once again. If you've got blue flags, get out the goddamn way. And now that has given Bolt the lead of this race, but he's trying to fight back here down the inside, but he doesn't quite do it. And there you go. Bolt is now into the lead this Grand Prix, as we had Chillicothe coming into the pits now. And he'll be probably battling with Maverick, I'd assume, in the end of this race. But Ragnar is now going to be absolutely livid, as the blue flags, the ignoring of blue flags by J Hobson UK, and having that dirty air has caused him to lose the rear end. And that's That's awful. That's awful. But Ragnar won't be giving up here. He'll be looking to just try and stay within DRS and try to stay with Bolt as long as he possibly can. And it seems like he's quite quick in a straight line. So if he can stay close, I wouldn't quite put it past Ragnar to try and absolutely launch one up the inside, or around the outside even, because of course turn 1 I think the best line to overtake is around the outside. And there you go, getting quite aggressive on the curbs. But Bolt with those fresher tyres is going to have a better exit. And now here we go. Ragnar actually doesn't have too much ERS, I've just noticed. And he's barely gaining on the Renault. It's a real shame because I think we would have seen quite a good battle between Ragnar and Bolt for P1. Of course, it was going to happen. Bolt was going to catch Ragnar and probably overtake him eventually. But shame that had to happen in those circumstances. So in a moment I will try and look at the chat as we've got Chillkiller, of course, just did pit onto the medium compound tyres, is now trying to catch and overtake Maverick for P5. And Kevin Jacobs saying, come on Bolt, go run down Ragnar, let's see that Black Diamond speed. And well, he showed that Black Diamond speed, but some controversial circumstances in the way which the overtake happened. But oh, here we go, we've got Addy now all over the back of Chillkiller as well. I didn't quite notice that when I looked at the gaps, but Addy, of course, third in the championship, he ain't no slouch, and he'll be looking to get past the Alfa Romeo here. And then of course up ahead is the Mercedes of Maverick DC88. And let's see what else. Kevin is saying Chillkiller will be fast at the end on the soft compound tyres. Yes, indeed, he will be fast here. And I think also Addy is might just be a little bit faster than Chillkiller at this stage of the race. But Chillkiller will probably at the least get P5 or 6. So still be a solid result for Chillkiller in the end here. As we come down the main straight, Chillkiller's got quite a bit more straight line speed than Maverick. But here we go, Addy now. He's in overtake ERS mode. Chillkiller defends the outside line, and as I was saying, the outside line is probably the better one. But Addy, there's contact, and he's gone spinning around there as he was trying to go past through up the inside of Chillkiller, and now he's going to go down past Murcielago into P7. These two are going to engage in battling once more. Well, that's certainly not what you want if you're the Haas driver. That is not good at all. But I'd have to re-look at that incident. I think that probably just looking at it first time, that's probably a racing incident as far as I'm concerned. But Addy was trying to get the move done, but he failed in doing so as Chillkiller tried to hold it around the outside. But very importantly, broken the DRS from Ragnar, and now Ragnar will be trying to just hold on to P3. Sorry, P2 from Ed, but Ed does have like a 6-second time penalty, so I don't think that will be the case at all. Kevin saying, I can hear Ragnar yelling like Vettel with the blue flag. He predicts that Val will get P3 if he stays close to Ed. Well, of course, at the moment, I'm not sure if Val's got any penalties, but at the moment, he would finish P3 if he has no penalties with Val, but he's on 12-lap-old hard compound tyres, and Addy is on fresh and medium, so I'm not too sure how that one will play out. Because Ragnar's just got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and I think he might have got one earlier in the race as well. It's very hard to keep track of who's got penalties and what type of penalties, so I think that is something that needs to be worked on. Kevin saying Addy for that move. Well, I think I'd disagree with that. I think that I know if I was in Addy's shoes, I would have absolutely went for the move. I think we need to get Chillkiller's perspective of that as well to get a better understanding of what went on there. As of course, in that once all of that happened, Chillkiller first of all got past Maverick for P6, so he was on some pretty old hard compound tyres trying to do the one stop. And I think he might come under pressure here from Murcielago, and potentially Addy still, as we're on lap 28 of 33 now, as our Skull has just soft compound tyres. I've just seen some red stand out on the bottom of my screen, and there we go. Skull is looking to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. As I've just noticed that quite a few drivers on very, very old hard compound tyres. Lazar the Greek is on 20 lap old hard compound tyres. And Hereford also on 20 lap old hard compound tyres. 2 Williams drivers. Yeah, that's it's actually Kevin Jacobs has just said in chat as well. Quite remarkable for the drivers to be going that long on the hard compound tyres. But that's what they're choosing to do. As Maverick is dropping back a little bit more each lap from Chili Killer. Of course, it's on much fresher medium compound tyres, and Addy losing the rear end a little bit there through that fast chicane. But he manages to regain control of the car. But on lap 29 to 33, I don't know if we're going to see any more action, if I'm perfectly honest with you. The gaps aren't closing, it looks like they're opening up. Well, certainly for first place, and Ed certainly ain't going to be closing in on Ragnar anytime soon, and looks like Ed is pulling that gap to Val. Chillikill is of course closing that gap to Val, but I don't know with on lap 29 to 33 that he'll be able to close that gap enough to try and overtake Val. As Hereford is actually just pitted now onto the medium compound tyres. Lad, go on the soft compound tyres. Go out there and have some fun, bees. Ooh, was Addy somehow got away with going on that curb. What on earth have I just witnessed there? I always regarded that as a death curb, but he drove pretty much straight on it and he got away with it. So there you go. Maybe I shouldn't be as quick to jumping to conclusions with death curbs on this game, perhaps. Maybe it is a little bit more manageable than when the last time I actually played this game, which was probably about 2 months ago now. But Murcielago certainly is closing in on Maverick, which is good to see. We're going to be seeing some action in the closing laps of this Grand Prix, and that is all I want. I want some action. I want something to be able to comment. And one thing that must be noted, of course, is Bolt now. He's going to close that gap once more to Ed in the championship now. And it looks like, if everything runs smoothly for Bolt in these final laps, that he's going to take his second race victory in a row, and that will put him in quite a good position in the championship, as he will close that gap by, what, 10 points or so. Or 10 points, he'll be gaining 10 points on Ed, that's what I'm trying to say. But here we go, we have Murcielago now closed up and within DRS of Maverick, who is now seemingly struggling on these cars. Sorry, on these tyres. I don't know what on earth I'm saying at the moment. I can't even English, but Murcielago is going to try and just close that gap, gradually get closer and closer in the lap here on Maverick, and it really should be the final sector that Maverick is struggling most on these hard compound tyres. As he loses the rear end there on the exit at turn 9, and now Murcielago might have an opportunity to overtake into turn 10. Is he going to try and get the move done around the outside? No, he's not going to get the move, but so much better traction on these medium compound tyres. You can see that Maverick is now really struggling with the rear end here. And I think Murcielago should be able to get past here on the main straight. And let's see what his run like is out of the final corner. You can see both drivers sliding about. But even before the checkered flag, not before the checkered flag, before the finish line, that Murcielago is going to absolutely fly past Maverick down the straight. And there's nothing the Mercedes driver can do about it. He just simply does not have enough grip at this stage of the race. Now, Addy's actually just got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and I know that is certainly not his first. So even if now, of course, as Addy is closing up to the back of Maverick, even if he gets past Maverick, that still might not be the end of it for Maverick. He still might be able to get P7 So Maverick needs to make sure, if he can, he puts up a very solid fight here, but you can see Maverick is really struggling so much, and Eddie's driving very smoothly as Testameister and Dougie Afferman have just had engaged in some sort of action, and Dougie Afferman is moved up into P9 now, up past Testameister. It's now Addy. Oh, he's gaining on Maverick so much up into turn 10. We nearly missed an overtake, but now Addy coming through this awful final part of the circuit. Maverick going a little bit deep there. Both drivers actually going a little bit deep there, but you can see Maverick is just sliding so much through the final turn that he's just not able to get a good enough run down the main straight, and it's going to be Addy to move up past Maverick into P7. A very comfortable move in the end for the Haas driver, and now he is putting himself up into P7. So don't think the Maverick will be able to stick with him, and no, you can see he's struggling so much. Although I'm sure he'll be very happy with where he's ended up. He started P18 after getting disqualified in qualifying for cutting or extending, so I'm sure he'll be very pleased with that in the end. And now Dougie Afferman. Oh, and there you go, Bolt. You can see that he's got plenty of pace still. He's just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:21 something. I'm not too sure. Let's see. I can't see on my phone. Well, I've got exactly what time it was. So still, Bolt showing he's got plenty of pace, and he is pulled out now a 7.5 second gap over Ragno on what is now the final lap of the Grand Prix as he comes through. Now turn 5, using all of that rumble stripped on the outside, that is for sure. You can see he's certainly having some fun out here at the moment. Oh, but I've just noticed that Addy has now actually closed right up to the back of Murcielago now on this final lap of the Grand Prix, so I have to keep an eye on that as we come to the conclusion of the Grand Prix. As now Bolt is coming through the final sector for what has been a very, very dominant victory here in Spain. He's led the race effectively from start to finish. He hasn't been under any trouble at all. He got past Ragno very, very comfortably in the end, and it's going to be his second win in a row for Bolt TBD as he claims victory here in Spain. A very, very good performance. But now our attention turns to the Haas driver and the Red Bull driver of Addy and Murcielago. But Murcielago very conveniently lags forward. But Addy with some sort of mega switchback. He's got the move done. And does he get it done? Yes, he does. Addy with an absolute belter of a move there as he moves himself up into P6. Up past Murcielago. What a move that was by the Haas driver. He gets past Murcielago, and there you go, P6, which is going to be turned into P8 for Addy, who's had quite a number of penalties. That is very unfortunate, as Dougie Afferman has managed to pull that gap of Testameister as they're battling only a couple of laps ago, and he is going to come home in P9. It's going to be McLaren's in P10 and P11. And that was a very good conclusion, a very good finish to the race, I must say. As Danny's ran out of fuel. That's it's not what you want, not what you want. But Bolt, the winner today, 11 seconds in the end from Ragno, who I think he must have had some penalties, and then Ed in third place. He'll be happy with that in the end after he got caught up in some incidences in the first stint of the Grand Prix. Val in fourth, and that's certainly the highest I've seen Val up in the last couple. He had the potential to be getting those results, but he's just been making mistakes, and finally a bit more of a smoother race for the Italian driver after wasn't exactly a great qualifying performance. And he comes home in P4. He'll be really happy with that, will Val. It's now, here we go, Bolt on the podium, first place once again, and now he closes that gap to Ed in the championship. And of course, the official championship standings will be put out on Twitter probably tomorrow. So go over to the Nemesis Online Racing League Twitter page for that. Just search up NORL on Twitter and you'll be able to find that. And there you go, we have the final race classifications for you now. And there you go, Bolt with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. Takes home 26 points to actually close that gap to Ed by 11 points. There you go, Bolt finishing first, Ragnar in second, who did a very good one stop, Ed in third, Val in fourth, Chillkiller in fifth, who showed some good pace but just wasn't able to fully maximise his pace. Murcielago in sixth, Maverick in seventh, all the way from 18th, Addy all the way from 17th, finishing 8th, Dougie 9th, Testameister 10th, Danny 11th, Jay Hobson, who started second all the way down in 12th, Lazar 13th, Skull in 14th, Hereford 15th, Lola Power 16th, and Altanovic in 17th. And then last of all, it was King No Skill in 18th. And we have some more comments in the chat here. Kevin Jacobs saying, nice win, Bolt, great job, good win for Team Black Diamond. Jake Marsh, who's always here in the chat, saying, let's go, Bolt, good to have you along once again, mate. Kevin Jacobs saying, damn, Lazar and Dougie on hards of 26 laps and 23 laps. Yes, indeed, I think that was very interesting, but in the end, Dougie managed to get it working. He got P9 in the end, so well done to Dougie on that. Skull TBD saying, FS, so that'll be beep's sake. Yeah, so he's not exactly delighted with how his race went in the end. But that is it for round number 5 of the Nemesis Online Racing League Championship. And of course, we will see you once again here at 9:30 p.m. Sunday night Central European time, which is 10:30 UK time, UTC, whatever it is, UK time. And of course, 7:30 in the morning Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Saving Time, or something like that. Yeah, we'll see you here next week at those times for, of course, what will be the Monaco Grand Prix, and that is certainly going to be a very exciting and eventful race. So thank you everyone for tuning in once again for the stream, and until next week, has been, and we'll see you later.